Okay, good evening. This is Debbie Davis, and it is June 23rd, 2024. And I have my friend Alice, another targeted person, on the call with me tonight again, and we have a few more things we want to touch on that has just been happening that is pretty important and alarming that we want to share. And so, Alice, do you want to say hello?
Howdy.
So she's in Texas, as I've had her on before. This is Alice Dark, and you spell it. You can look up her channel at
D
DARQU
A R, sorry, DARQUE.
QUE. Yeah, because I thought it was DARKO at
That's
first.
okay. I
Dark.
didn't even think. I didn't
Yeah,
even think of that before.
yeah. So you can find her channel. And so we've talked about when I had her on before. We're going to try to see if we can do a more professional video than this FaceTiming here next time. But we have talked about when I first had her on, she was explaining how she knows that she somehow got on a mind control program. And she explains in her videos that she's somehow been a part of some of these experiments without her consent, that because of her bloodline, and her father was involved and he was in the military, and so it's something to do with the bloodline. And um, and so she's being targeted very heavily in Texas. There, she's near Houston, and so when we were talking just a couple days ago, she's basically, and I've talked to some other people too. There's another girl that contacts me who's in Virginia, and she said she has drones flying over her head at
Yeah,
this point.
that
It seems like things are escalating for the targeted people. And
yeah,
and so when Alice and I were talking, she's now getting these planes that are flying over her head, right? And
yeah.
then and so let me I'll go to the text and then kind of show them what you sent me yesterday.
Yeah, yeah.
Go to my text messages. So I'm gonna have to put this down for a second, and then
No problem.
go to your. Okay, so then, yeah, because I want people to. Okay, so
The Hillary balloon.
yeah, the Hillary balloon. Is there balloons coming this way now too?
I saw a balloon on the radar, but it wasn't for me, thankfully.
Okay, you're like, what is this now?
Yeah. I was like, oh dear God.
My aerial
Okay, so
thing,
this is what
basically
she
death
sent me
threat.
yesterday.
So, they have a whole map. They do a whole map thing for me, and they want me to scroll out to show their whole flight pattern. So, I'm gonna show that right here. Let's see.
This is what flight pattern now?
Um,
Okay, so here's the flight pattern of that whole airplane thing.
Okay.
Where the Houston police found out it's the actual FBI.
It's the FBI.
It's affiliated with the FBI. So here is the map out, and so I traced out the actual. Let me see if I can get this. I traced out where these areas are. It's kind of a pain in the ass because I had to Google Maps. I had to line it up, right? So you can see the areas here. This is out in Houston. I'm up here. You see the loop-de-loop they were doing that I showed earlier. So this is actually, I believe,
I don't know how close I
where I
can.
was going to those targeted justice meetings with Richard Lighthouse, and where I told you
Okay.
all that stuff went down there.
Okay.
So these are death threats, and I believe it's affiliated with that. And they're affiliated to FBI, so he's obviously affiliated with that, I suppose. And so this is a death threat, and I'm going to show you why. So I lined this up right here. Like I said, you've got this and then this area. So this area is the Department of Motor Safety. So they're threatening me, literally threatening me, to cause a car accident, just like the Houston police did the other day. Yeah. So I am going to now show more of this up close. So here's an up close of the area. It's like at Kurt Street or something like that over in Houston area. And there's an area right over here called Trinity, and I'm Trinity in the Matrix, you know? So, yeah, kind of clever, right? So there's that. So here's that, where the Department of Motor Safety is. circled around. And I'm going to show that in a second. Yeah, here's a larger, more magnified, a lot larger area where I believe that restaurant where those bogus targeted justice meetings were. So yeah, they're giving me death threats about this. Well, obviously he's scared, so whatever. I don't care. You people are perverted and insane. Like, I can't believe this shit. Like, really.
Uh-huh.
Like, I haven't even done anything.
Yeah.
Really.
Okay.
Okay. So here's the map up of the area here. So the circled area was right up in here, and I believe the restaurant was right up in there. So there you have a Settlegast Heights Village. So it's right around there. Triple J Smokehouse, right up in there. And then what was funny is as I was looking at the flight pattern, they actually changed it, and this is what they're doing right now.
Yeah, that was so
Literally. And they're circling.
They're doing it real time.
There,
they changed it.
Mm.
They're still showing me things. Yeah, they really are fucking insane. Just fucking insane. So here is the airplane data, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there it is again, Idaho 23. It's death threat shit. 11:59 p.m. Yep. You gotta be absolutely insane if you think I'm gonna magnify that. Like, you don't scare me, like I said. So, as I've said, I'm in the AI, and this is what this boils down to. I am a heavy mind control victim, and the Allison CERN, and they know this. And so, they're monitoring my blood pressure, my heart rate, everything with what they're doing. And so, yeah, they know right now they don't scare me. They don't. I have too many investors on me. I would have been long dead already. Doesn't mean they won't kill me eventually, it's as I've said, but as I said, I'm just, Oh, it stopped. That's okay.
Okay.
So, yeah, that,
Okay.
sums it up. I mean, that's what I have going on. And it's kind of funny, we're talking, and you said you had issues with Idaho.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. For those of you who've seen my channel for a while now, I had a very scary experience in Blackfoot, Idaho, where it was the Masons there, and I was doing temp work. I was mostly working at the manufacturing of the potato plants there for a while. And manufacturing was because that's my experience is like assembly, manufacturing, and
Yeah.
and they have a lot of the Idaho potato plants there, and then but this one time I got sent over to this other place that was over in Blackfoot, Idaho, doing some temp work, and the police, as I was pulling out of the work for, I got pulled over, and they said I had a warrant. I didn't have any kind of warrant. It was a made up warrant from South Dakota that's not even a felony. Wasn't even a felony. It was a made up warrant from my sheriff in South Dakota. He tried to say I was disorderly at the scene of a car accident, and then he tried. And it wasn't a disorderly is not a felony. Only a felony will follow you from state to state, not a misdemeanor.
But even that,
Yeah.
to actually say that you're disorderly, it's like, oh, you mean I speak the truth?
I was the one who called 911, and then when he gets there, he was and I was just taking like maybe 3 minutes of footage of the accident, and then he thinks that's disorderly. I'm sorry, this is a public road. There's nothing disorderly about that, and it was disorderly of you to try to take my camera from me. Yeah, that's you should be the one who gets charged with disorderly, Sheriff Ackerman. And then you went ahead and called a sheriff in another county of a different state and tried to ruin my life in a different state for another false charge. Yeah, this is a criminal sheriff in South Dakota. Big time.
The Freemason
And
Brotherhood.
that's the Freemason Brotherhood. Yeah, and so yeah, that wasn't so Idaho has a very dark side of the elites or the cabal or whatever that is involved in it. There's an FBI office there.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I figured out tracing back the airplane. Like, I did a little bit of footwork, found out that the Masons had sold that plane. It was like a private airplane. It seats 6 then that's how I figured this out. And yeah, I mean, it was the Bank of Utah had sold it to the police. Then tracing even further back with it being, I'm like, it's FBI, because it's like
and there's a
police helicopters. My father and I both, and this is an airplane. Or this is not. It's like an unmarked car. It doesn't look like police. It's just that it's FBI is what it is. So
and it was circling, and when it was circling around your house. And is it doing that today too, or no?
No, So what they do, this is a common thing. They've been doing this for the past,
and there's and let me just say something.
2.5, 3 years flying around, and what they'll do is they'll do that, and they'll want me to get their attention. And a lot of times, they want me to trace back their path. So they will literally make a whole scenic tour where they'll circle things. So it sounds insane, but it's true. So they'll circle. I wanted to go looking for different places to go. So sometimes they'll have airplanes circle over my house, and then I'm like, I don't know if they're the good or the bad guys. This particular instance, bad guys. But so they will circle my house, and then it'll show the flight pattern. So I go to the flight 24 or whatever that's called, the radar, and it'll show they went to different museums in the area. One time they had them do that. So I don't know how many people are in my devices, and they want me to, because they make sure I see it. They'll change things around even in my devices to show me things. But this particular instance, it was interesting because I was busy texting back and forth to you. And I was like, I don't give a shit. Just leave me alone. I was like telling you at the same time, I'm like, I think I got helicopters flying over. I'm like, wow, what is going on? So I finally looked it up, and that's when I figured it out. And so, yeah, I mean, it's a death threat. And it was because I had already, like, within the last week, I had aired out that Richard Lighthouse, Owen, as he's known to me.
You're basically trying to out him. Expose him that it's not that targeted justice. Yeah, and I've looked at their articles before too, and I thought, oh, at least somebody's trying to file some complaints, and I thought they were legitimate, but apparently they're not. Yeah.
No, they're not, and that's their threat, because and it just proves my point further. It's like, why would you even bother to reply to me through emails? Because they first done that, threatening me with a lawsuit or something. I'm like, bullshit. I'm not lying. And so, I mean, why would you? I mean, my channel's small, and I didn't tell them about my channel. I just said, hey, I know you're affiliated with the Allison CERN, which is me, and how I'm connected and mind controlled in the computer and the quantum computer. So. And CERN, as we know, is over in Switzerland. So, and then Alice communicates with it, and I guess that the actual Alice project part of it is over in France, and it communicates. And then I think NASA ties in and all that kind of shit. So it was very short and curt. Made an email to him, and I said, hey, I'm going to expose your affiliation basically with the Allison CERN. I didn't say I was Allison CERN. Didn't even imply it. I didn't even imply I was a mind control victim. So it was like a template that he sent back to me in email. And you could tell I wasn't the first person that's come after him, because it was like he just kind of filled in a little bit in the middle. And so he basically threatened me, saying that it was slander and all this. And it was kind of interesting because you and I were just talking about defamation of character and slander in terms of how this targeting thing goes, because they lie to people. That's what's said about this. They lie. All these fucking retards. Not that it matters, money talks. All these assholes are neighbors and everything else. When it comes to the almighty dollar, they're going to take it, and they're going to come after you. It just ties into my thoughts. They're under a mind control project. So anyway, the airplane, rambling, but the airplane thing, they're threatening me with aerial traffic, and how they do that is that they will go from point A to point B and this and that, and it's like a puzzle piece, so I have to put it all together. So it's just like how I exposed on my channel, and now you're now seeing this too, as the police, they create false accidents just for targets to see, and it is terrorist death threats. It is exactly that. And as you and I have spoken about, they have caused us car accidents. My son was just a toddler probably maybe 4, caused an accident with he and his dad because I'm of some sort of bloodline. Nobody fucking filled me in about. Excuse me. Nobody filled me in on it, and my son's in that car, so it was an attempt at my ex-husband, which was also in on it. It was an attempt on his life and my son's life. So yeah, this is what they do. They cause accidents. They want to kill you, and and it may. It's not
a joke. It's domestic terrorism that's happening to us.
It really is. Well, deeming you the domestic terrorist. Supposedly they have us on some sort of watch list or something.
Yeah, like they think that. As a whistleblower, I think that under the Patriot Act or something, they put us on some kind of domestic terrorist. Yeah. And I was.
That they have me in, I don't think they'll let me leave the country, and it's because of how I tie into this other person, because supposedly we tie into the Federal Reserve, so yeah, they're not going to let me leave the country, so they'll have me, I have no doubt they'll have me on some sort of terrorist watch list. They won't allow me to leave the country, because they don't want us to cross paths. And what's interesting is I was thinking even further into this, Princess Di, before I even knew I was even on this list, or before this whole, years ago, I watched, interviews with her. I mean, they kept her locked up in a high tower. They really did. They kept her a political hostage, like a prisoner.
Oh my gosh.
Buckingham Palace. She would reach out, and she had actually feared for her life, and she had said, "I feel like they're going to cause a car accident." She had actually said that. And they tried getting rid of the audio of it. Because the audio was floating around on YouTube, and I believe BitChute too, because I had known about it for at least 10 years, where she had said that she feared for her life. That poor woman.
It's crazy.
Are evil.
Yeah, they're evil. Yeah, it's evil. But I had stated in my last video that it's not, and it doesn't matter what race you are, because we just had this Juneteenth holiday, and about remember in that was to celebrate the freeing of the slaves back in but it's and it has nothing to do with the race. They're coming after all different types of people. It doesn't matter what your race is. Because our enemy is not. They're trying to create a race war. So our enemy is really these people. I found this article, and I've had talked about this article before. And if you haven't heard this, I'm going to reread this article about the Babylonian Khazarian Mafia and the Zionists, because I'm going to read this article again. If you don't, can you stay on, or do you want to listen?
It rhymes with chew.
Huh?
Rhymes with chew.
Chew? What do you mean?
It rhymes with chew. They rhyme with chew, the name of the people. Like chew your gum.
Chew? Yeah. I found this article, and I couldn't believe it. It was it talks about, this is about the Babylonian Talmudic Cabal, BTC. And the Khazarian Mafia, the KM. And it involves the British Rothschild Zionist Mafia, BRZM. Okay, and this is all of our enemies. Okay, they specialize in black arts of the dark side, and satanic worship and sacrificing of children. They employ fake wars and usury interest to rob 50% of the world's wealth and resources, then deployed through the mafia-owned MSM to do mind control and soul murder of humanity. Aren't these are really nice people, aren't they? Mafia, they also use trauma-based mind control and torture and covert, unrecognized assassinations of BRZM enemies, like us, apparently, and numerous evils involving supplying young children to demented politicians and officials, and then blackmail.
Yes.
Okay, this is an article that I found exposing them. And that's, I couldn't, I never had heard of this before, this article. So So the Kabbalah of Babylon, magic is the core of the New World Order.
And
Okay.
that's mind control, man.
Yeah. Yeah, and so the Kabbalah can be traced back to Babylon, ancient Babylon. Okay, this goes back to the biblical days. It was not not there that its initial doctrines were expounded in literary form, but in ancient Greece, Jewish literature never appeared until the 3rd century AD. Rather, the earliest elaboration of the Kabbalistic doctrines were written by Greek philosophers, and particularly Pythagoras, later Plato, the godfather of this tradition. Okay, so virtually every form of Western mysticism and spiritualism known today draws upon Jewish myth and occult teachings. Magic, prayer, and alchemy, astral projection.
Alchemy.
Yeah, astral projection, dream interpretation, astrology. Okay, I mean,
Yeah.
okay, well, there's its roots in the Jewish occult. So, I mean, there's an occult part of the Jewish. Okay, and it's the
That's all it's
Zionists.
for.
Yeah, I mean, so for
They're
millennium,
Zionists, they really are. Synagogue of Satan, right there in the Bible.
yeah, so for the millennium, many of these core teachings have been unavailable to the general public, concealed by the barriers of language and by the protective principles governing the teaching of the Kabbalah, which has both nurtured and guarded such knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Rosicrucianism, Order of the Rosy Cross,
Yeah.
arose in Europe in the early 17th century. Based, that's where your rose comes in, probably right there. Rosicrucianism.
Yeah, I heard they're tied in with the Masonry, but I'm not sure because it's like I've said, there's two sides of the same coin, and they always like to play both sides, so you don't know who's telling the truth and who's lying.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Built on esoteric truths of the ancient past and combined references to the Kabbalah, Hermetism, and imagery of the Christianity of universal reformation of mankind. Okay, then the higher degrees of Freemasonry depend on mystical masonry of the Jewish occult. It requires you must pledge to become an assassin of Christ and his representatives on earth with fire, which purges the earth. British Rothschilds run Israeli regime links that are purifying the Middle East by wiping out Arabs and creating political chaos in the United States while sucking all wealth out of Americans.
Yep. Stick. And that's what it is. I mean, we all have, it's one enemy. And that's
Yeah,
that's
our enemy is the Khazarian Mafia, the Jewish.
it's one enemy. And, you know, there is,
all of our
they
enemies.
want to create race wars and everything else, and it isn't a black and white thing. Absolutely not.
No,
and
it
that's
doesn't
where
matter
we
what
have
race you
fun.
are. I mean,
and
why?
you know, we're all it
Yeah.
is this whole Great Awakening thing, and I do think there's some sort of mind control program. That, but that's a side tangent. And yeah, we need to buy, like, Civil War is coming, and as you and I have spoken about, like, this, it has to happen. It does, because, and we need to bind together. This isn't a black, white, Asian, any of that shit.
Yeah. It's not a black, white, Asian thing. Yeah.
Asian thing coming over our border, and they're going
Right.
to slaughter us, and so that's why they're coming over, because they want a civil war. But they want us to fight amongst each other for,
so they don't. So they will. They want us to kill each other, so they don't have to kill so many themselves. They're trying to kill. Right, divide and conquer.
And then, you know, and it's like you're talking with, there is a black gentleman that I do follow, and I can't remember his handle because he doesn't upload that often, and he is on YouTube, and he is extremely insightful. I think he may have the glasses, or it's a dash cam or something. It's something hands-free. He's driving around, but he's extremely intuitive. Like, he sees the cars, the traffic, the staging. He knows what each thing means. He's very tactical in how I almost wonder, like, he's so tactical, I almost wonder if he's, like, part of counterintelligence. I'm sure he's not, but he's just so smart in the way that he articulate.
Yeah, he might
it's
have
like
a,
so
yeah,
beyond me because
right.
I'm so traumatized by this that I just, it's like we've talked. I need a drink or two just to get on and make a live video because I can't talk
It's so
about this.
it's so trauma.
hate it.
This is so traumatizing, and I already have PTSD, and so it is really
Yeah.
hard for us to talk about this stuff. But if we talk amongst each other, it's gotten a little better when we were supporting each other. But
Yeah.
it's still really hard for me to talk about this. It has been for years, and
Yeah, and you don't know who to trust.
yeah,
Like,
uh-huh.
when I are talking, I'm like, you're the first person, and it's like I mean this like every time I say it, like you don't know how much like it means to me that you reached out to talk to me because like literally because it does cause you to be suicide, and I'm on some sort of suicide program. This is though what they call the suicide program. They want to Hillary style suicide you, and then they could just wipe their hands of you, and it'll be like, or natural causes or anything else. EMPs, electromagnetic pulse, all that. I believe that's what they'd done to my father, and so yeah, they will kill you off, and they'll make it look natural.
Yeah. This is not a game. And then it says right here, it mentions treasonous and traitorous senators John McCain and Lindsey Graham. Right here are they are a part of this whole Khazarian mafia. Okay, they constantly push false flag, fake wars, and they're a part of it, the whole agenda. And I've was a huge part of helping expose things in Arizona, and so that's where all this stuff started for me. And apparently, my main enemy was John McCain.
Yeah.
And I've talked about this, and let's see. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. So this goes way back to so the last part of this I want to read is that because it ties into some scriptures that I just want to mention because basically these are like snake people. These are the original snake people. It goes back to Nebuchadnezzar and Babel. Okay, and Babylon was founded on Amorite chief named Samu Abum in 1894 BC. Okay, it was the Temple of Enki, Sumerian, Akkadian, Lord of the Earth, or something like that. Okay, this is how far.
Like Al-Qaeda, didn't it?
Yeah, this is how far this goes back. Is 2300 BC. Okay, and so it was built near a swamp with snakes. Okay, House of Abyss.
That's Lilith.
House of Abyss, important Mesopotamian religion that's as late as Nebuchadnezzar's time, kings of Babylon. They refer themselves to as Lugal, Nunki, king of Eridu. Okay. Okay, so basically, these were basically the original snake people. Like, Satan presented him as a snake in the Garden of Eden. Okay. So to me, life after Eden must have been a crushing disappointment for early humans, especially, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so basically this goes back to the Garden of Eden. So I just wanted to remind people that there's a scripture that, because I've been, feeling that, really the only way we can fight this is in the spiritual realm. And so we got to be reminded of this scripture in Luke 10:19. It says, "Behold, I give unto you the power to tread on serpents and scorpions, and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing by any means shall hurt you." Okay, in Luke 10:19, who is he talking about? Who were the serpents? These people, the Khazarian mafia, are the serpents he's referring to.
Yeah.
Okay, they're original serpent people. They're in the bloodline of Cain. Remember Cain and Abel, and that's the bloodline of that's the serpent bloodline.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is who he's referring to in this verse. You have the power to trample on the serpents and the scorpions. Yeah, and the serpents are these people, the Khazarian mafia. Okay,
Yeah.
so we have to. That is our enemy of mankind, and it goes way back. This far back to 2300 BC. So we have to realize as humanity, I guess, who our real enemy is, right?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. It's funny because you talk about treading on them, and it made me think about what's that? I always forget. Forgive me, but it's something with veterans. The flag "Don't Tread on Me," and it's got the snake and it's yellow. What is that flag?
I'm not sure.
Because
Is
everything
it?
follows the Bible, and I'm now realizing this.
I'm not sure about that one. I'm not sure about that one, but
But yeah, and it's kind of.
but there's
funny.
all these different symbologies.
Yeah, like all these, layers. And then you're
Yeah.
saying Nebuchadnezzar. So you watch The Matrix. I forget what's called that. They mentioned the Nebuchadnezzar in The Matrix because everything, like said in movies and songs, it follows the Book of Revelations and stuff, and it's like really.
It all goes.
fascinating.
I mean, this goes way back 2,300 years ago. This
Yeah, and it's
or
like
more.
so
I
weird
mean,
because
yeah.
they have deliberately, and I'm victim of this. So they had deliberately caused the majority of us to not read the Bible, not be aware. It's all deliberate, so that way we would stray and become these Lilith things, really. And so I find it fascinating because I finally broke in and bought a Bible, and the one I was showing you, like and it's an eye opener because like I said, I got the Orthodox. I have it right here, actually, the study Bible, and I liked it because it actually, in the bottom, it actually defined things for me and what was happening during that time. And there's the wording might be just askew by this much, but it can mean all the difference in the world. So I found it fascinating because I can't go to it, and that's the other thing. I can't go to a church only because I know that I've always been on this system, and I know they will infiltrate it or head me off in the past. There's one church I would like to go to, but I'm afraid they will infiltrate it before I even get a chance to go there. Like, inform them that I'm bad, or they might just be in on it because a lot of the masonry is running the churches now. So it's like, this shit is like really, really bad. Like right now, most churches are ran by Freemasons.
I've had a really hard time.
He gave me
I've
the
had a hard
Freemason
time.
handshake on purpose. He was like this Baptist. I don't know who runs Baptist churches. What do you call him?
I don't know.
He's a Mason. I don't know, the Grand Poobah Baptist. I'm so bad, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, he literally, and because I already knew about this stuff at that point. It was when I moved out here. Yeah, this is a real thing. They're infiltrating the churches. It's so sick. And I'm sorry if I'm tangenting your stream.
Yeah.
But,
No. So yeah. I've had problems with churches, and I'm sure I know a lot of people have been turned off from religion just in general because some of the churches are just they're not right now. But don't be turned off by Christianity just because some churches. Just get in the Word yourself. It's a personal relationship. And so But anyway, okay. Well, I don't want to make it too long tonight because it's getting late. But do you have anything else? Do you want to just end with or anything? Anything else? So basically, basically, somehow you had an FBI plane over your head from Idaho. I mean, how bizarre is this getting now? I mean, the level of and
basically it's death threat shit.
Yeah, I know, and I've had another targeted person that I talked to. That she's in Virginia, and she said she's seen drones over her head. I mean,
I get that too.
Yeah, and I mean, and so this is they're not playing games. This Khazarian mafia has put us on some kind of list, and we are the Christians that they want to that they put that they want to kill with fire.
Yeah.
It says here right in the that and they want to kill off the whole bloodline because they think that their bloodline, the Cain bloodline, is the real royal bloodline when really it's the opposite.
Yeah, they're taking out all blood. Like there's a lot of well, the black bloodline. They don't talk about this on public media. It's been very recent since this whole close down and leading up to it. The last like 5 or 6 years, they've taken out a lot of these countries. I don't want to say African. They're not African, but the black type countries. They are the royal bloodline. So they didn't want this whole poke thing going on. So they took them out. They killed them. And
Yeah.
then it circles back to like we've talked before. It circles back to Brandon Lee because his father is Bruce Lee. That is the Chinese royal dynasty. They took him out, and it was a death threat. And I tie into this somehow. So they took him out. So yeah, they're not just attacking like one race. It's literally we are all the fucking enemy.
No, they're not attacking one race, and so.
That ties into that. So.
Yeah,
like they are. They do not want us. They do not want the Gentiles. They don't want anything to do with Christianity. They hate.
Right.
Them. They
It's
hate
all.
them
It's
because
anybody
they know
that's
the
in
truth.
that's in the opposite bloodline. It doesn't matter what
Yeah.
race you are. If you.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It
Okay.
is that. And see, these are people that are loving people, and that really is what this boils down to. Like people that they literally have taken out. They don't want anybody to know this. These prime ministers and equivalent to presidents, all these other countries, kings or whatever. They literally have taken them all out. They want to take out all royal bloodlines and to put the tutus in there to run it. It is that. It's about to take over. It is the synagogue of Satan. These are Satan worshippers, and they aren't playing around. They're piece of shit. They're sick.
Yeah. Yeah. They're really sick. They're really sick.
I fucking hate them. I really do.
Yeah.
And the fact that they want to, they use racism on this targeting thing. They want us all, they use racist things to come in after me while pointing me as being the racist, and it's not going to happen. They're not going to they're not going to make me into
Don't let them.
racist.
Yeah. Don't let them play this race card because that's they're trying to just put this on each other on us. Yeah.
When I was young, it was Mexican gangs, the Cholita gangs. That doesn't mean that I think all Mexicans are bad. And then right now, as of current, they're using black people on it. And it's like, it's the most ridiculous shit because I follow somebody that's targeted that is black. It's like, you're not going to get me to fucking hate them.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
Try to make me out to be that way.
Right. Yeah,
It's
exactly.
Sick. It's sick.
Got to be smarter than our enemy.
Oh, yeah. So sick. So
Okay.
sick.
All right. Okay. Well, I think I'm going to end it for tonight. It's getting late. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
All right. Thank you. All right.
Talk to you
later.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Okay. So I'm just trying to give people an idea of how high this goes and the level of things we are really going through as targeted people. And but I did finally get my unemployment figured out. I guess, I don't know why I got this letter saying I wasn't approved, because I got this letter saying I wasn't approved. And then when I went to the unemployment office, and they said it might have just been because you needed to reset your password and get a new PIN or something like that, because it said there was a problem. But then my employer said, no, we didn't deny you your unemployment. When I contacted the HR at Wagner, and they said, no, we did not deny your unemployment, and we don't know where this is coming from. So I did get that part figured out with unemployment here, and but it's a constant game that the whole government here is playing with me, because our government people are Democrat, and they're not nice people that got in office here, and so it's a whole game that they're playing with me here. Okay, so all right, God bless.